It's Real Fit Radio with B
and J.LOU.
If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you're a returning listener, welcome back.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Be a good person, but don't waste your time trying to prove it. That's for whoever feel that way out there. I want to be a good person to everybody. You ain't got to prove it. Just be.
That's me. B. Well, it was a good day.
Productive.
Yeah. Yep. Whatever time it is that you're listening to this, hope you're in good health, great spirits, and ready to have some insight, inspiration, be empowered, impacted, or some sort of takeaway from our topic today. You want to know what it is? I can see, like, what is it? What is it? Yeah. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the meat and potatoes of this thing. We're going to talk about indie artist and entrepreneur struggles. You are an indie artist.
Yeah.
I am an entrepreneur. I think that's one of the things that really drew us to each other. So we have a lot in common, but there are differences there too. And I know there are a lot of people out there that are full-time entrepreneurs and part-time entrepreneurs. They have to keep that 9 to 5 or whatever it is where they go get their 40 hours in, and they're able to take the money from that job to continue to fuel their entrepreneurial passion, endeavors, whatever it is that they're doing that they feel like they want to do, but they're not able to possibly do it full time because the financial means just aren't there for it yet.
Right.
So, yeah, I'll turn it back over to you because I would be speaking from an entrepreneur standpoint. The struggle is real.
Yeah, the struggles are real for both, believe it or not. Some of the things that I deal with being an indie artist is trying to really figure out how to allocate the funds that I have, because most times you're grinding and you're doing other stuff to, like you said, fuel your purpose. So you're not just doing music by itself. You're working, but you're using that money to not only take care of your bills, you're using that money to put your music out. And it took a while for me to try to figure out the balance of not only making a quality song, but also thinking about how much money to put into the marketing of it. I've always thought, like, man, I need a great product. I need something that's just going to be quality out this world. But the other side of it is, yeah, you can have all the quality in the world, but if don't nobody know it exists, then what you going to do? You're just going to have a great song and those 10 people that you keep sending it to on Instagram or wherever you posting it at. So having to find different ways to allocate that money. So my brain has been working like, okay, I've had to teach myself to slow down on music creation, because as a creator, and I've heard it oftentimes, we get so caught up on wanting to make new music that we forget about the business side. And if you love what you do, you will do it for free, but you also want to be able to do it forever. And you can't eat free, you can't take care of yourself on free. So you definitely have to pay attention to the business side. And that's really what I've been focused on. That is one of the pros to being with a record label, because they're the one that's pushing your stuff to the forefront. So they have all the competitive advantages on the marketing side. So you're battling against that algorithm. I hate that word, algorithm. The other thing is too, and you just got to have tough skin with it, is people not respecting your craft. And I live in LA, man. So a lot of times people do this whole introductory thing where we having great conversation. Let me say me, I'm thinking that we're having a good vibe, and it's like something could manifest from the movement. And then it's like, yeah, we should link up. We all know that word link up out here in LA, and then you leave and then they don't mess with you anymore. Or they talk to you long enough to see if you know anybody, have any resources to help them. And you don't hear from them no more once they get the info and it's maybe not something that they think is going to help them. So it's a lot of disrespect, and it doesn't necessarily just come from outsiders. It can be from people you know. I've told countless people that I do music. I don't know if they thought I was playing, or maybe because everybody says that they didn't take me seriously. I don't know. But whatever the case is, they don't really subscribe to me being an artist. So I'm posting stuff and trying to tell people check out the music or whatnot. And I ain't gonna blame it on algorithms all the time. Some people will look at your shit and will not pay attention. They'll scroll right by it and they know you do it. I can't speak for everyone else, but I do know those are things that I struggle with as an artist, the marketing part because of the money, and also trying to grow that buzz. And that kind of go hand in hand with the money, but at the same time, trying to grow with people that you know and meeting new people. It's like you ain't hot till you hot. And I might bring some more up as we talk, but those are the two that comes to forefront for me right now.
Yeah, I laugh. I laugh when you said, "Oh, you are artist. You really do this." When it's like, I'm an artist, and then it's like, yeah, we should meet up, or yeah, have some tracks, or maybe we could work together. And this is my Instagram, and I'm laughing because I'm born and raised in California. Everybody here is a mover and shaker. Actors, artists. It's a lot of entrepreneur titles, but I would say but not, because it's the 9 to 5 is really what they do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people come here and I don't think they know that the cost of living is very high. I think they thought that they were going to hit the ground running, and they find that one job is not enough to sustain what they have a desire to do initially. So they have to take on some side hustles, or as we find, they cutting hair, they're selling art. I'm just making stuff up, but they have a couple of irons in the fire. And then most of the time, some of those fall by the wayside because they're doing it and they might be good at it, but it's not really what they want to do. So they're not as dependable, and it shows. Or I really don't know how long I'm going to be doing this, because they're just all over the place. They're trying to make ends meet. So that was funny because because I've had an opportunity to watch your journey, not being in relationship with you initially, but just us coming together as you being an artist and me being an entrepreneur and just a creative. For myself, one of the struggles I find is making sure I'm allocating the time for it, because life is happening and you get busy, you start working, and you have to find that energy. I don't care what time it is. When you're an entrepreneur, it's really not 24 hours in a day.
Yeah, that's the one we share in common.
Yeah.
The exhaustion of having the job and having to have time for your passion.
Right. It's not 24 hours in a day. It's just time. That's how I look at it. It's like I did this and that's on their timetable. I had to work this shift, but that does not mean my day ends. And my thinking had to change that way. I had a huge struggle with that because I was limiting myself to wake up, work, and then, oh my gosh, it's midnight. Timetable or time frame is if I have to be to work at 6 a.m, yeah, I am dealing with that time frame. But you got to figure out, you have to change your perspective as to that's when I have to go and put those man hours in. But that does not mean I don't have time. It's just I go there from 6 to 2. After I get off at 2, I have time that I have to do this because maybe the store closes at this time. Maybe I have a doctor's appointment and they're only open during these hours. But I couldn't look at it as, oh my gosh, it's midnight and I'm up creating, because you look at it and you think, oh my gosh, I'm out of time, I'm gonna have to be to work. And it's like, no, this is just the time you are creating, and that's where it fits. You hear people say it, and we've been programmed to have the mindset that there's not enough time in the day.
Yeah.
But it is. You really control your efforts. You really control when you're going to lay it down. If I still have something I got to do, then I'm not going to bed. We've stayed up when we were younger for less. Clubs, outings, to meet girls, to meet guys,
Nah, you ain't lying.
So that's one of my struggles. The other one is time, but in a different way. Like, when is it going to pop? Yeah. And when you were talking, I was like, that's a huge, it's not such a huge struggle for you. Yeah, but that is a struggle I think that an indie artist and an entrepreneur shares, because whatever you're out there doing, and for me, it's creating, it's not so much as saying pop on a notoriety level, like I need for everybody to know who I am. I heard someone say, it was actually Chadwick Boseman, someone said pretty much alluding to when he gets his big break, that's when he's an actor. And he was saying, no, I'm paying my bills, I'm an actor. And so I resonate with that in a sense where I'm constantly creating. So it's already happened, but it's just the beauty in it and the excitement of actually seeing something that you were a part of out in the world and doing what it was created to do.
Right.
You know, when I sit with someone, it's almost like it's just abandoned and we create together. Or I have something I'm working on. For instance, with COVID happening, we had to stop a whole event that we do monthly where we're coming together and playing games and stuff like that. I mean, I really love recess, and it's not happening now because of COVID. It's a gathering. Although it does bring in financial means, it was created to bring people together and also to bring about the opportunity for them to connect in a very organic way. So those are the things where it's like, oh, I need for recess to be happening consistently. I need for people to be coming and connecting because that's what it was made to do. So that's another struggle I have, that I can't make it just boom. Like you put music out and it's done. It's out there. It's getting to everybody that I need for it to get to, because all you can do is release it. You don't know how it's hitting with somebody else. Time reveals all. But man, that weight is crazy because you're just like, oh my goodness, you know, win. So feeling like you don't have enough time is one of my struggles. And time, like, when is this going to happen? Or can the gift make room for itself where I don't have to split my time over there? Can I get so deep in it where one thing does create the financial means for me to do even more, or have more time to do this and not have to split it between working 8 hours here and taking another part-time on here and still trying to figure out life, and I still want to do what I have a passion for. Another one was just the motivation part, because you hit peaks and valleys. And sometimes you just kind of like, I just don't know. Am I doing what I need to do? Like you say, sometimes I know what my sound is, and that's not what's out right now. And I'm not about to change it. Oh, gosh, I feel like I'm a pilgrim in a foreign land. I feel like I'm in the wrong time era. What is this? Like, why am I'm the artist doing this and they're not? Like you said, you're either riding a wave behind or you might be ahead. Yeah, so sometimes you just feel like you're in this foreign land. You're the outlier. Yeah, I find as an entrepreneur and a creative, some of the stuff I'm thinking or coming up with, it's just like sometimes it's like, okay, run that by me again. Okay, so if I were to do this and you're just kind of sitting there like, this is a cruel joke, because I know within a couple of weeks, and it's happened before, this same person, after they run this by a couple of other people, they just need somebody to co-sign it. And I'm not a creator based on what somebody else has done. And I find a lot of people that I've worked with, they're looking at what already exists. I don't create like that. You could be the first. I'm that kind of person. Or why do you need for someone had to have done this already? It's almost like this can't really be because nobody's done it. It's like, okay, well, let's do it then. And that just bugs me. Even with you, I know what happens with sound. Kanye, other producers, but I thought of him with these crazy sounds. And it's like, what is this? And for him, he was kind of ahead of the curve. And they have some Jimi Hendrix. They've got other people, James Brown, all the dancing he was doing. You know, it's just like, what is this? If you looked at it at a different time, I'm sure they were looked at like, what is this? But somebody saw it and said, yeah, let's do it. So that being ahead of the curve or just not understood, or you constantly like, okay, come on, you guys, you know, I'm here. And then you feel like sometimes you're not well received. I should say that. Like you said, you go in, you work with a producer, and like you might hear strings there. Why would strings go there? You like, just do it. It's going to come out really nice. It's like, But after you get it and put the words to it like how you heard it, they're like, wow, that's my favorite song. And you're thinking, yeah, you sure didn't feel that way when we were making it.
Right. Yeah.
I have to pretty much fight you to put this sound I heard there, or I hear water dropping there, or I need something like, you know, but they're bringing it from your mind. So I really feel like we share a lot in the creative process of you hearing something in your head and actually bringing that to life, and me just creating with others and creating for the ideas I have myself. It's not for the faint of heart. You have to just be like, I don't care. As long as I can pay my bills still, I'm going to do this. I'll do it to the day I die because I'm that committed to it. And I think people quit and then start again and quit and start again. So it's not for everybody.
No, I mean, being the first is always hard because there's no blueprint there. So people are automatically going to either get with it and say, man, I've never seen that before, but I really like it. And that's rare. Usually what happens is, this is trash. Like, what is this? Because nobody has ever heard it before. or seen an idea that you put together before. So yeah, I'm glad that you actually talked about two of the things, which is time and time, which you already described, so I won't bring those back up, but those are very synonymous in our world. But I had time to think about another one that is a very tedious process for an indie artist. We have to wear a lot of hats. I have a team, you with my creative process, and we review contracts sometimes, but we also have someone else that I seek counsel from that be like, yeah, that's a good deal or no. But a lot of the things that a record label do for an artist, where an artist, all they have to do is create, I have to do everything from making sure that my whole package is together when a song drop or EP drops, etc., etc.
The business part.
I have to find ways to get my music to like song placements via commercials. Of course, we help each other out as much as possible, but I'm
protecting your business, protecting your songs and your lyrics.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Registering music, making sure the people that I'm working with get their fair share in splits. That's artist talk, split sheets. You guys who do music, y'all know what I'm talking about. But sometimes you're working with people, they be like, what is a BMI? What is an ASCAP? So now you dealing with that. It's so many different things that you deal with, and you're learning along the way to the
and
point.
Needing others too.
Huh?
Needing others.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
because you don't want to be a producer, but man, when you working with stop and go producers, that was a big one. You said you meet people where it's like, I'm a producer. You like, yes.
Yeah.
And you like, send me what you got. And they looking at you and you like, let me pull up your Instagram. And it's like, in your head, you like, oh, you said you was a producer, but you ain't really a producer.
Not. Yeah. And it's, like case in point, like a Drake. The reason why Drake songs, in my opinion, sound so great is because he had chemistry with one producer or a couple. I don't know everybody he worked with, but I know he worked with 44 Minute and stuff like that. And a lot of his songs were bangers because those guys created a sound together. Mm-hmm. And when you're a person that's trying to create a sound from scratch or kind of mix what you already heard with the past to the future and create something that speaks only you, it's difficult when you're jumping from one person to the next. Mm-hmm. Think of it like trying to get into a relationship with different people. You're with a girl or with a guy, you break up with them, you get with somebody else. You break up with them, you get with somebody else. It doesn't work because it's like whatever chemistry you had or you're trying to find, you have to start all over again.
The stop.
Yeah, it gets frustrating. So you're dealing with other people. Obviously, you can't be an entrepreneur without dealing with other people. But like I said, you wear so many hats. You're making sure that you meeting your own deadlines. You gotta manage your own time. Like I said, you're booking your own deals. Everything goes through you. So that's one of the things I think why some artists just rather get signed, because they don't want to do that. I've seen quotes from artists like, I just want to make music. And that's a pro and a con too, because you get screwed on the business side because you're not paying attention to what's going on with that black and white, which is the paperwork. So it's a pro and a con, but like I said, it can work your mind to death. I'm so fortunate to have you there in times when it's like, you don't necessarily have to be this music phenom to be like, hey, that deal don't sound right. Like, I'm just letting you know what they said what. And the other one would be, I have to not only be a musician or an artist, I have to be an entrepreneur as well. Music doesn't pay what you actually think it pays to a degree. Like, I remember when Wale had an interview and he said, if you guys get into the music industry thinking that's the only way you're going to make money, you might want to stop. It's not what it used to be in terms of even just the simple part, like records. People back in the 90s and so forth behind that, they got record sales, whether they were indie artists or main artists. People bought CDs and things of that nature. So that actually brought income to the artist. Obviously, you have performance, you have merch, etc., etc. But record sales was something that gave you something, especially if you own your publishing, you own your masters and stuff. So you got a great deal from people buying your records. 100 million records sold. That's money in your pocket. Now you got all these digital streaming platforms where one stream is worth, we don't even know what that is. The ongoing question of the Matrix is, what is a stream worth? We don't even know how much it is, but I check my stuff all the time and you looking at 0.0000001. That's what it's like, damn. So the money that's made there from these artists is not just music. A lot of those guys are on tour. They got endorsements with big companies. It's not that. And also the guys that I watch and try to model my journey after on certain things, it's like Jay-Z, Rick Ross, some of those guys. Rick Ross have Checkers and Wingstop. Jay-Z got his hand in everything. He got Tidal, which is a digital streaming platform, 40/40 clubs, alcohol beverages. His money is being allocated in different places outside of music. And I'll finish it with this. I'm not in his pockets or anything, but some information that I seen through podcasts, it was saying out of all the money that he's made, only maybe 10 to 15% of his income is music. So that just goes to show, like, I love music, but it also puts me in a space where it's like, I love music, but I have to take my money and allocate it in other resources as well.
Diversify the investment.
In order for me to do music full time, I have to put my money outside of music. So that's another thing that is like a lot of people probably don't know. You guys see people performing and thinking, oh man, they doing it big, but they really not. They making probably less than you. So those are two extra ones that I wanted to add. I was thinking about as you were talking. It's like, yeah, wearing several hats and also having to find other places to diversify the funds outside of just music, because music still won't be enough to a degree.
Another huge struggle is the emotional drain and finding the momentum again. And I did say you can stop, but the emotional drain of dealing with people that started good, whether it's a producer or somebody that's a client, and then they're not doing their part and you got to coach them along the way. Or it's like, look, we started this project, let's finish it. I was going to get, 4 beats from you. Why are you having to remind them to send you the music? Send me the information for your BMI. You do want to get your money. Mm-hmm. And then after that, you take that hat off and it's like, let me get into the marketing part of this.
Exactly.
And then let me get out that, take that out. Let me go ahead and get somebody to design this cover. And then you take that part off. And then it's like, okay, maybe I need to be doing some performing. Should I be doing that? And then you take that hat off and it's like, okay, what about my publishing and my stuff? Let me check. So after all of that, you throw some bad apples in the equation, some producers, somebody that's overcharging for the studio time, or they not at the studio after you paid, and now you like, forget that, I'm gonna go buy my own equipment, I'm gonna record myself. So now I'm taking myself to school on recording, and it's like, man, this person is not doing this. I'm working on a time frame. Respect my craft and I respect yours, but you think this is for play. It's not. This is real. I'm really an artist. Forget that. Now I'm about to be a producer, so I'm gonna learn how to make beats. Like, it's a lot. And so the emotional drain of that is a huge struggle, because you have to find your way back. Because after you do all that, you got to go create
a great song.
After you do all project. That, yep. You be like, okay, let me write to this beat. And then after you write, it's like, now let me go drop this track. So now you're the engineer and you're the artist. For me, people, I don't want the money if what I pay for in my energy is beyond what you could ever pay me in money. Mm-hmm. If you get what I mean. Me working with you is so draining afterwards. You couldn't give me enough money, because I don't even want to go create with anybody else after you. And you can't see that coming sometimes. You can connect with a person and the experience in itself, you want to finish what you started, because that's just the type of individual you are. That's your character. And then this is your passion. So it's like, I started this and I'm going to see it through. But at the end, you're like, why the fuck didn't I stop?
While you was ahead.
I don't know why, because even at the very end, it was still on bullshit. Like, I don't know why I did this, but you just stayed the little engine that could, and now you so icky from the whole interaction of the time you spent with that one individual or a group of people, you can't even give to someone else that may really be like, let's get it. You're like, I don't even want to do it right now. I'm so exhausted.
Or you on a short leash with them.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because
yeah.
of
It's like,
experiences.
oh, I'm not playing. Next time, you won't get me like this. Well, see, that's good. See, I can see yours and you can see mine because it's like, never again. You will not do that.
Like, dang, you should have had that attitude with that dude.
Right.
Or that girl.
They were the person that actually put it into play. So that's a huge thing. Finding like the passion, motivation, energy to still do it, that drive after you've been exhausted by other people, because you can't really do it alone. And you wearing all those hats, something suffers in there.
Yeah.
You see some artists where, I mean, you hear their stories, they're fortunate enough, like one of those songs got them out there and then it generated enough money where they could start having a producer. Or someone said, hey, work with this guy. But in that process initially, when you hear there, that's a huge struggle. Because you're like, this is not really what I want to be doing. I'm not a freaking producer. I really don't need to keep calling this person up, but they're really talented. But I'm gonna have to cut ties. That's the worst. Working with someone that's talented and you can see it, but they can't even see it for themselves, or they're not fully committed. So you gotta stop creating and start coaching. I don't want to coach you. You told me this is what you want to do too. Can I just be the artist and you be who you said you were? Because you told me you were really wanting to do this. You really are passionate about getting this business off the ground or creating this product, or really, you know what I'm saying, connecting the dots here so that this will happen. And it's just like, you're acting like you're not. I'm having to remind you to do what you said you were going to do. Why? So now we're not creating anymore. I'm coaching and I don't want to do that because you told me we were going to do this together. And I keep alluding to producers. Lou has been fortunate enough to, especially this last EP, get everything done. It wasn't too crazy. And we're not singling anyone out that he's worked with, but he had to go through, like they say, you had to kiss a lot of frogs. You had to go through a lot of people to even get those sounds. And then I think it's a huge thing when you work so hard to put that body of work together, and now you gotta push to get it out there, and you gotta make sure you got the money. You can have a garbage album, as we hear with some of this music, and it's out there everywhere. You can't go anywhere and you don't hear it. I mean, it's not about
behind it, man.
So you're just like, I made this project that I put my blood, sweat, and tears into, and now I have to make sure I have the means to push it to the level that I'd like for it to be for anyone to hear it. It doesn't mean you're gonna like it. I just want it to be available to everybody.
Exactly.
And I think that's what some people get wrong. They think marketing equals everybody's gonna love it. No, you just want it to be available or heard by as many people so they just can experience it. That's all. You go and you experience some eateries and you might say, you know what, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad. I mean, I'm not rushing back. And there's some places where you like, man, I'm glad I found this place. So good. I'm gonna tell everybody I know about it. You want it to be there, but if you know this budget is not pushing it to the level that I like for, you know, this EP to be pushed or for this single to be pushed, I gotta go back. Now you're not the artist again. Put on my thinking cap, management / you know what I'm saying, business guy, marketing. And it's just like, how can I do this? And that goes for both of us because I'm constantly revamping and trying to figure out and being select. Like you said,
you're more like the Lamborghini of marketing, though, because what you do is so unique. Being a strategist and consultant, it's almost like you need the people that you work with to glorify it. Because even with you putting together like some kind of marketing package to put on Instagram or
I
wherever,
refuse to.
Even if you try it, it's not the same type of dynamic as mine, which is respectable. I can understand.
Oh yeah,
like,
I see what you're saying. You actually have that
you know,
option.
you can put a song, like you said, put the song out and then market it.
This is what I do. This is it. Yeah.
But for you, because it's like a strategist, you're that person that's putting together the song lyrics or whatnot, and that artist is getting all the acclaim. Man, that song dope. Like Jane Doe, man, he went hard as hell. But it's the person back there that wrote the song, created the melody, you know, all that did it. So with you, it's the same thing. The person who is the face of whatever you gave them the strategy to do and complete, they the ones getting the critically acclaimed. Oh man, that's amazing. Like such and such, man, his product is off the chain, but you were the one who gave him or her the pieces to the puzzle to make it what it is. So it's imperative that they be the ones, hey, I know my stuff came out, but I want you to work with creative aspects because that product that you see out there that everybody is ramping and raving about, she helped me with that. So it's that word of mouth thing. Like, you don't see Lamborghini commercials. You just see the Lambo, and it's like the
And
product
everybody
speak for
that
itself.
and what I will say is, before you start talking, I said and select. My catchphrase is let's create together, and it is very intentional. Together, that word is there, because if you aren't really about it and to a certain place where now it's like I can't take it any further, and that's why we've come together to strategize, or we're doing a consultation and you're gonna bounce some things off of me and I'm gonna listen and then give you my input. We can't do it. But you find in this, especially being here in LA, a lot of people say one thing but do something else. Like I said the other day, you don't have to say anything. Your actions told me everything. I don't even look at anymore what someone's saying. I'm really like dialed into what they're doing. Like you're telling me this, but let me watch what you're gonna do. Like I hear all that. This is your representative. So when that happens, I'm almost kind of like not even wanting them to talk about, because on the back end, it's like, I really enjoyed working with you. And my thing is like, I wish I could say the feeling was mutual. I don't ever want to work with this person again.
Yeah.
Because you took too much. I was doing this. You really weren't. I'm watching how your time frames are. And when I start creating, I watch how people drag their feet, how they're talking about, yeah. And then it's like, you move fast. And it's like, yeah, let's do it. Time is of the essence. So I find when I say select, because I refuse to do marketing on platforms or pass out business cards, or, I'm out like, hey, this is what I do. The only way that someone can find me is from work. Yes, from work that I've done. And I'm intentional with that as well, because I don't even like this is probably gonna be like way out. Resumes are funny to me, because even when you look at what someone does on paper, there's a 30 to 60 day period, depending on what company you're working for, to see if you really are who you say you are, right? So it's like, we do this interview. I like your energy based on what you said here. I call the references here, your referrals, your last employer, and those don't even have to, let's not even get into that. That to me has always been baffling. Like, you put the name down of the person that I'm going to call, and they're going to give you a good referral. So I get to tell you who to call to ask about me. Wow. What all the facts, like all the stuff that's going on, it's like, could you fax that over? Let me get this straight. You're going to call that number. I could be that person on the other end faxing you this document. Wait a minute, say that again? Like, so that to me has always been crazy, because it's just like, I don't know if I just think like that, but that whole process of the interview, and once the interview's done, they tell you, well, we're going to see if you're a good fit, and we're bringing you on. There's a 30-day probation period, and everybody knows that.
Yeah.
So when someone says, who have you worked with? In my mind, it's like,
why
how
would
did you
I tell you?
Yeah, and how did you find me? That's my question. If you ask me who I work with, my next question is, how did you find me? And that's why it's so intentional.
Yeah.
Because you can't find me based on, I saw a commercial. No, how did you find me? And then what you're going to say is, well, a friend of mine's friend, we were over at her house, and oh my gosh, I love the design of this. Or she told me that she worked with you and you were able to assist her with creating this or doing. And it's like, oh, and in my mind, I'm thinking, resume. You saw my work. That's why you're here. When you see a Lamborghini, resume. You don't go in the Lamborghini and say, so who have you sold cars to?
Yeah, exactly.
You're there because you like the cars. You see how fast they are. The reputation of Lamborghini. I want to be contacted based on the reputation of my work. My work is my resume. It speaks for itself. And that is why I have a really hard time. That's a whole nother segment, if you guys haven't listened to it, with customer service. And with people that do bad business, because I'm like, this is your resume. You don't want to not show up, or just the whole outcome of the whole experience was horrible. This is what you did to my hair. This is the type of service you provide. You said you're a realtor and I could never, set up a time to see 4 properties that I've told you I want to see. So you don't want that. The part once I've been drained, getting back in there, finding that drive still.
I've seen you. I don't know if it ties into one of the issues that you already expressed, but I've definitely seen you believe in somebody's passion more than they believe themselves.
Oh my goodness.
So That's
they got
part of the emotional draining part, because you're having to work twice as hard because you're trying to get somebody to believe in some shit they brought to you to help them create and bring to fruition. So
they told me based on what they saw that I did with someone else that they had to meet me. I just gotta work with her. And so I'm very confident when I do a 15-minute consultation and it's like I ask a couple of questions based on your inquiry, and it's like, you know what? I think that you should sit with this a little longer, do a little more research, and once you've kind of settled on ABC or whatever, because it just depends on who it is, we can revisit this at a later time, but I don't want to waste your time or mine. And it just doesn't seem like you're at that stage where you're ready to create together.
Keyword, people.
Together. And so, yeah, that is huge for me. Shaking off the ickiness, the bad experience, frustration of someone I just work with and not carrying that over to a new person. So I have to have breaks in between and I have to be select. Sometimes it's like, you know what, just walk away from this, because it's never about the money. It's about, are we going to give birth to this? Are we going to bring this to fruition? Because I get excited. I'm excited for the person. The process isn't pretty, but it's beautiful at the end. And I find beauty in that when we're working together. I cannot say that enough. It's going to take some revamping sometimes. And, I don't know, but I thought it was this. And it's like, it's okay. Let's keep working with it. I'm okay with all that. But when it's just like, I don't know, what do you think? I know that I want to do this. I want to do something that changes people's lives. Okay. So in what capacity? Like how? I know that it's going to be big, and I know that everybody's going to want to be a part of it.
You ain't told me nothing.
And it's like, okay. And I've always wanted to do something like this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, fucking something like what? You're not saying anything. And it's like, and I've been saving money. And I just know I want to have an event and I want to connect with people that want to help other people.
That just sounds like a Miss America answer from a pageant.
Wait, but no. But wait, there's more. That's what I want to say. And it's like, okay, so what have you been doing thus far to like start doing this? I don't have the time. I mean, I'm always at work and I don't know. Sometimes I volunteer, I help friends out because I just love the way it feels. And I talked to so-and-so about what you did with her, and she was able to design and get everything together, and I loved everything, and she's just up and running. So I just wanted to know, like, I'm ready. I don't know what we're even ready for.
Yeah, I'm still lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I don't know. But that happens. I'm cool with somebody coming to me saying, look, I love painting grass. I love it. I love it in all shades, red, green, yellow, and I think this could sell. When I drive by houses and see green grass, that's boring. I see orange grass on lawns, yellow, purples, reds, mixed. Like Willy Wonka. I'm looking and I'm listening to this, whether we're meeting in person. It's like, wow, okay. Well, I'm ready to set up a website. I'm not set on a name yet. Colorful grass. I want something that zings, and I know that I'm going to sell it. I want it to be in Home Depot and Lowe's, and wow, I work with that. Because it sounds crazy, but it's like everything sounds crazy in the beginning. I'm looking for passion. That's why I said I'm not advertising, because imagine how crazy the plane sounded when they came up with it.
Yeah.
It's going to be shaped like a bird, right? You put people on it and it's going to go in the air and it's going to take people across. What? I can see it. Something faster than just us walking or like with a horse and carriage. It's going to be in the air. Can you imagine somebody describing an airplane?
I don't even want to know what they went through.
I think Eddie Griffin laughed when he was talking about the telephone. Ooh, remember he did the whole joke?
Yeah.
Right. Just imagine these things being described to someone. Then it graduated to a cell phone. Wait, you don't have to be at home to have one of these? No. You're going to have it in the car with you. Because remember, they used to have them in their cars. Mm-hmm. And then now we have them So nothing is crazy to me. I'm about helping the purpose-driven individual bring their passion and purpose to fruition. It's like, let's get it. Let's create. I can't tell you that that's not something that can happen. If you're passionate about it, let's get it. You know what I mean? And not everything. But,
I got
you know, so yeah, the struggles of the indie artist and entrepreneur, the many hats that you wear, and I don't wear many hats. I find that I go from creator to coach a lot.
You do.
Motivational speaker.
How you gonna motivate somebody about something they supposed to be passionate about?
And it's like, oh my gosh, now I feel so refreshed. Thank you so much for having this talk with me, because I do need to get my stuff together, and I am dragging my feet. And you were right. If this is something I really want to do, I should be doing it. Thank you for and now I'm thinking, this is what I don't want to do right here. At some point, I do understand it can be frustrated, because it's like, I'm really frustrated that there's stages where it's like, this is not selling, or I can't find the actual space for this, or, you know, different things like that, or the trademarking process or something like that, but not trying to keep you wanting to do it. Like, didn't you say you wanted to do this? So why haven't you gone and done the other steps? Sewn up the social media handles, looked at if the name's available, talked about creating a landing page. Why haven't you put together the different things you're going to offer, and so on and so forth? I shouldn't be doing that. So, yeah. Hopefully this was insightful for other entrepreneurs, creatives, indie artists out there. And I think, well, we're all an artist in some shape, form, or fashion, because artists create. And whatever it is you're doing out there, whether it's part-time or full-time, I hope you have some takeaways from this, some inspiration, something that empowered you to maybe have an aha moment, or you're feeling refueled, invigorated, like, oh man, I totally relate to that, because you may be the only one, and now you're not alone. You heard from 2 other people right through the podcast, you know, however we came into your home, your car. So yeah, I really hope that this was helpful. If you want to keep this conversation going, or you have any questions, comments, concerns, or a suggested topic, you can always shoot us an email at realfitradio@gmail.com. As always, we hope this inspired, impacted, or empowered someone. Until next time.